Welcome to the kingdom. I am Phenom. Over here to my left. Yeah, that's right, my left. This is my left. That's serious.
What up?
Welcome to another episode of The Blurred Perspective. We coming in with a review, but not a movie review. We're doing a TV show review. Arguably, probably one of the best TV shows of 2019.
One of the best. I just got excited for it all over again. I don't know where I went. I knew the excitement died down because I watched it like 3 weeks ago, but just now I just got excited all over again.
I saw the whole series twice and then I stopped halfway through again.
I just watched like all the fun parts now. Like I just keep watching.
Alone now.
Oh my God. I don't know if this is one of my most favorite shows of all time. Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about the Umbrella Academy on Netflix. Oh man, how do I even give a synopsis of what this is?
I don't know, but you can try it, and if you mess up, I'll help you.
The Umbrella Academy started off as a comic. Is it by Dark Horse Comics?
Dark Horse, yeah.
By Dark Horse Comics, partially created by Gerard Way, yeah, from My Chemical Romance. It is about a group of special kids, I guess.
Well, they're not retarded, but
not special.
They've got superpowers.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, the way it all starts off is one day, 43 women give birth on the same day.
They weren't pregnant before.
They weren't pregnant when the day started. There's an eccentric billionaire called Reginald Hargraves.
Yes.
And he goes out to try to find and gather all 43 of these kids.
Was it all of them? Oh, yeah, but he was only able
to procure 3. And I say procure because he did pay some of these parents to get these kids. And basically, it is about how he raised them. They each had their own individual powers. He basically raised them to become a super team. It's kind of like X-Men.
Did we say 3?
I say 3?
Yeah. He got
7.
7 of them.
Yeah, he got 7 of them.
7 of them.
Yeah.
Is it? It was 7, right?
Counting? 7.
You counting?
No, I know it's 7. I'm just like, I'm trying to recall when did someone say 3.
No, yeah, you was like, he got 3 of them.
Oh.
And I was like.
Where'd I get 3 from?
I was like, did he get 3 of them? He must have read the comics or something.
No. He paid for 7 of them.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, he procured 7 of them.
He paid for them.
Or it killed for him. Anyways.
So basically in the show, the show takes place in present day time. All of the adopted kids are either adults, dead, or missing.
Right.
This dude, Reginald Hargraves, was such an asshole. His kids did not have names. They named themselves. He literally called them by numbers.
Which I'm totally calling my kids by numbers. They got to know the pecking order.
They were number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which will later on become Luther. Then 2 was Diego.
Right.
3 was Allison. 4 was Klaus. 5 was still 5.
Right.
6 was Ben. And 7 was Vanya.
Right.
Let's see. The powers.
We're going to go through powers?
Yeah.
So Luther had super strength.
Super strength, yes.
Now, you explain Diego's powers to me.
So, Diego's powers is he can hold his breath for an infinite amount of time. And also, he can curve any object that he throws. So, in the show, they never show him using his powers, his breath-holding powers.
Right.
But he has a what's it called? An affection for throwing knives. So that's what he does. He throws knives. He can curve the knives. It's a nice fight scene that I think happens in episode 3 or 4, where like someone's running up some steps. He curves that jank, catches him right in the leg.
Yeah.
Allison, who probably has the dopest of powers.
Power.
Allison has that type of power where it's so great that the consequences has to be just as great.
Yeah.
Like, all Allison has to do is mutter the words, "I heard a rumor," and whatever she says after that becomes true.
That's it. it can be something that's totally not true. And then she says,
Like
I heard a rumor, and
there's a scene when
reality bends itself to
there's a
making
scene
it true.
where they're foiling a bank robbery as kids, and she goes up to one of the robbers and says, I heard a rumor that you shot your friend in the foot. And my man shoots his friend in the foot.
That shit is great.
It's like, but as you'll find out in the show, it does cost her some things. I'm sorry for that one little spoiler.
It was still great though.
Klaus
can communicate with the dead, and
Klaus in the show, Klaus can communicate with the dead. Throughout the show, that power gets expanded upon in a way where I'm just like, that's dope as hell.
Yeah.
Number 5,
transportation. He's like Nightcrawler, but he can travel back in time.
Yeah, he's like Nightcrawler. His powers first started off with him just being able to teleport short distances, and throughout the and somewhere along the lines in the show, he actually learned how to jump through time.
Right.
Now, because of his time jumping thing, some events happen, and number 5 becomes stuck, looking like a teenager, while everyone else is grown in the show.
Yeah,
but he really has like the mindset of like an old man.
Yeah. So he's like he's like 53 years old in the body of a 13-year-old or something like that. Yeah.
Which is kind of dope. Ben has the ability to Ben can conjure monsters from another dimension. That's officially what his powers is.
It's like from underneath his skin or something.
Yeah,
like they live under his skin or something like that.
And he can summon them out to basically not like, but when he summons them out, I guess like parts of them come out, like not like he creates a whole different entity or a corporeal thing next to him.
Right.
It's just like it just comes out through his chest and
right. And
then you have Vanya, who is, since we're not going into spoiler territory, she's just normal.
Yeah, she doesn't have any powers.
Yeah, basically she's been shitted on her entire life. Like, their father was not a good person at all. Like, if you thought Charles Xavier in this new set of X-Men movies is an ass, their dad is the definition of a dick.
Yeah.
Like, all he's focused on is training. He never wanted them to have a personal life. Because number 7 or Vanya didn't have any power, she was always excluded from shit. She wasn't in family portraits when he introduced the Umbrella Academy to the world. He didn't introduce her. I mean, he's an asshole. He got the kid. He tattooed the kids.
I mean, they were a superhero team.
Why do they need tattoos?
You need something.
They had uniforms and a mask.
Nah, man. Because
they had matching school uniforms.
Let me tell you how much of a forward thinker he is. How many women got pregnant that day?
43.
43. He was able to get 7 of them, right? If he doesn't brand those kids, you've got a whole rack of other possible mutant superhero children running around causing trouble. He's got to be able to differentiate who his ones are and who these other ones are.
I thought you just... I mean, but what if one of them's a shapeshifter? That automatically throws everything off.
They wouldn't have the... Well, I mean,
you can shapeshift the tattaoo.
Yeah,
I mean, unless they don't know
who's
about
to say?
tattoo.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you've got that exception. But
so anyway, the show pretty much is about...
Oh, wait. Now, we've done the characters. We've done their powers. Do we want to go through their dysfunction? Because this is the thing. This is a superhero show, but it's more so like a dysfunctional family show, too. And if you ask me, it's like a dysfunctional family show with superpowers thrown in.
I would definitely say that.
So you have these characters with their own personalities. They have their own powers, but they also have a particular
like Luther is so desperate to like be the leader or I guess be the hero that his father always wanted them to be. So when everyone else leaves, he decides to stay.
Yeah, the superhero complex.
Yeah. Diego just never wanted to be number 2.
He has that I need to be number 1 complex.
Yes. Allison is just kind of...
Allison is living with regrets. That's
like,
more so what I got from her. Regrets.
Allison is living with the consequences of her actions.
Yeah.
Allison is pretty much just, I got everything I ever wanted, and in order to get it, in order for me to get it, now I'm losing so much that I thought that I never knew I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, because real quick, I mean, if you're just going to think about what could be the consequences of those actions, you're manipulating people against their will. So anybody outside of the person that you're manipulating, if they witness you doing that, like that's like, that's a black mark on your character.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't get what you want, so you're going to force someone to do it. You know what I mean? And she could easily do it. So she's kind of living with that, like, the consequences of her actions, or to get where she got, her powers did that. So as a matter of fact, a lot of times you didn't really see her use her powers a lot.
I mean, to be honest, twice, I think. And the only time, twice, like, because the third time something happened. I'm not going to say what happened, but you know what happened. But yeah, I saw her once as an adult, once as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they asked her and she was like, nah, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Klaus is just overall fucked up because Klaus has probably the most traumatizing power of them all.
Yeah, so Klaus,
he's been seeing dead people since he was a little kid, and they've been trying to communicate with him.
And not just like, oh, their spirit is showing up. No, like, these are like corpses.
Yeah.
Like, talking to them, like bullet holes in their head, eyes poking out, stuff like that. And, that's to see that, like, everywhere you go, like, that's your power, because he can't, like, turn it off or on. It's just, it happens.
Not to mention, there was a way that his father tried to teach him to control the power or to get over his fear, which is just as fucked up.
So anti-parenting.
Everything about their dad is just, the dude is just a dick.
So
That's
anti-parenting.
all I can say.
But because of that trauma, Klaus he's a drug addict.
And that's because basically his powers don't really work when he's high. Like, when he's sober is when shit tends to work for him, and so he chooses not to stay sober.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I can't blame him.
No, yeah.
Like, with that power, I was like, yeah, I don't know, like, I might just be drunk all the time if that counts. But
I'd be high all the time. Just constantly running away from that's what he was doing. He was constantly running away from his powers. So
yeah. What would Fives be? Fives complex would basically just be he's just trying so hard.
Superiority complex.
Yeah, superiority complex because like I said, he's older than everyone else at this point.
Yeah,
but he's still younger.
Listen to me. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's that he's older and that he knows what happens. Mm-hmm. And that no one either doesn't believe him or just no one can really fathom what he's saying.
Right.
So it's kind of a mix of I'm superior, and at the same time it's just like I'm trying to stop something, and you guys aren't really all that helpful, and it's just like I'm speaking, but it's like I'm speaking underwater.
Yeah. Like, I mean, sometimes him trying to explain himself or a plan or something that happened or was going to happen, it was like he was talking to a brick wall. It was just like, well. Like, they couldn't, and he would often get frustrated throughout the whole show, like, oh my god, you guys just don't understand, and he has to, he feels as though he has to do a lot of things himself, or what have you.
Yeah. And so then after that, I don't know what Ben's issue was, because
well, yeah,
you don't see Ben a lot, so it's kind of hard to say what it was.
Surprisingly, you saw Ben a lot more than you thought that you would.
Yeah, but not enough for you to really grasp who his character was.
Yeah.
Vanya, you knew who Vanya's character
was. Well, no, Ben was actually really sad as a child, because if you paid attention to when he would use his powers, he didn't like using his powers. He didn't like what he was or what he was able to do.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
And he was just like,
that was probably one of the reasons why him and Klaus were so close, because they, like, out of the two, they kind of had the most effed up powers.
Yeah. So
I was like, if you it's like if you run around asking kids what their superpowers are going to be, those two are definitely bottom of the list.
I summon horrific monsters from underneath my skin. Like, it's
he was like, dead people are just always around me.
You know what I mean?
He was like, you ever seen The Sixth Sense? It's like that.
So Ben was like, it was a couple scenes where you would see as children, their team would be like basking in glory or something like that, and Ben is just like off to the side looking sad because he doesn't want to be doing what he's doing.
If you see what his uniform looks like a couple times.
Yeah, like he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to use his powers and things like that. So he's just sad all the time.
Yeah. And then
or whenever he's using his powers. He said.
and then Vanya. Well, we already know Vanya's issue was just always she never felt like she was good enough.
Yeah, she was
Like she was in a family full of super powered people, and you know, she was just the average one among them, to the point where like her dad would just constantly like, you know, pick away at the point that she's average.
right.
Like
He made it a point to continuously tell her that
like why can't I do this? Like
you can't because you have no powers.
You have no powers.
You're the weakest among all your siblings. Like that dude didn't skip a note at all.
I mean, it's just like average. I mean, to the point where in the movie, I mean, in the show, she like basically like, nah, like y'all need to know about me. Y'all need to know who it is. And so she does something that kind of, you know, upsets some of the other family members. I was like, man, fuck that.
Yeah.
I wasn't even halfway upset.
Yeah. The thing is with the show, I mean, like plot wise, it was a pretty simple plot, but it was really unique with how you could do it, because you could, you know, they involve things like time travel.
I feel like you can give away the plot
like
a little bit just because the plot was in the trailer.
Yeah. I mean, what happens is number 5 goes he goes into the future, and he sees that the world has ended, and he somehow finds his way back to the past, and he tells his family, "Hey, we have to stop the apocalypse."
Yeah, he finds himself 8 days before the apocalypse happens.
Yeah.
And so the entire show this entire season takes place in 8 to 9 days.
Right.
And it's all about 5 trying to stop the apocalypse, trying to get his siblings to help, because, you know, like they need the full power of the academy in order to stop all this. And just, you know, just little things along the way, like Allison and, you know, her other family issues. Like you said, Luther and his, you know, delusions of grandeur, kind of like, oh, I have to be the boss.
Right.
And some other shit, and the side effects of some other shit that happens to him.
Right.
That have you like, bruh, once you see it. But
Vanya was just trying to live life.
Yeah,
she was just trying to, you know.
Yeah, she was just trying to live life, but you could just tell, like, the way her character acted, she was just like, you could tell she was doped up all the time.
Yeah, but the thing about her character, even everything that she went through or was unable to go through, she was always there for like her family.
Yeah, she
like,
always,
whenever something was going down, like, she was like,
yeah, it's like no matter how bad they treated her, she was there. Like,
yeah,
like,
and the siblings treated her bad because that whole, it was like the whole Leaky thing. Like the father would tell her, you know, you're nothing, you don't have any powers, things like that. You can't help.
Yeah,
so
like there's one particular episode where, like, toward the end, where she's going around and she's like having a memory in like every room, and everyone's pretty much just kind of like shutting her out.
Yeah,
and it's just like, damn, like,
because like that was implanted into the kids as well. It's just like, she doesn't have any powers, she can't help us, get out of here.
I mean, and shout out to Allison, because Allison is the only one who tries to, you know, somewhat mend that bridge. I mean, every once in a while, some emotional happens, and one or the other says some shit, and they just like, fuck you. But then eventually Allison tries to recross that bridge. So I would definitely give her props for that.
Yeah. They did a real good job.
But Klaus is still my favorite character.
With all of them not being biologically related, they did a really good job at establishing a family chemistry.
Yes.
Even though it was grounded in like dysfunction, they were still like, at the end of the day, they was just like, nah, this is my brother or this is my sister. Yeah,
it's definitely some dysfunction going. It's definitely some dysfunction, a little bit of weirdness going on, just a little bit. And it'll be real easy to pick up on once you start watching the show.
I didn't find that. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, I didn't find it all that weird.
I mean, I found it weird. Like, I told someone it's not wrong, but it's weird.
Like, I didn't find
it. And they agreed with me. They're like, yeah, it's not wrong, but it's weird.
I didn't really find it weird or wrong because, like they.
I mean, I know why you don't find. I know why, but
it's easy to be on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like you're either or.
Yeah,
but and then also like the other actors in this show were pretty good. Like they had Mary J. Blige. She was a time traveling assassin.
Did
named
her
Cha-Cha.
Motherfucking thing.
She was getting in the fights, dog.
Like, yo,
she was like the goddamn Terminator up in that joint. It was her as Cha-Cha, and her. She was basically this company woman who's just like, all right, we're good at this job. Let's do this job. Let's keep it up. And she has a partner named Hazel, and Hazel's more just like, oh man, the company's getting cheaper. They're trying to like stiff us on our money.
Yeah,
like,
he played that employee that's just like, all right, this job is running this course.
He's Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. He's
I'm
just
getting
like,
too old
I'm
for
getting
this
too old
shit.
for this shit.
Yeah.
I'm looking for retirement. He's contemplating what else he can do with his life or what else there is to life.
Mm-hmm. But the cool thing is,
and it works though.
Yeah, even though they had their personal goals were different, they still had a really good working chemistry together.
Oh yeah, they were probably one of the best. Like I think they said they were like the best of the assassins or something like that. And I can see why they had really great chemistry together. It's just like, yeah, like I just assumed, one person does something. Where were you? I just assumed you do this. I'm like,
right.
It's like, I mean, yeah, but still, when you just know somebody so well that like you kind of hate that they already knew what you were going to do because you wanted them to do something different.
Exactly.
And they do a good job, but they just do a real good job with all the characters. Who was your favorite character, I guess?
No, I mean, mine was, of course, Klaus.
Everyone's just Klaus.
And I'm reluctant to say
Klaus
it because everyone's favorite is Klaus. But like my very close second favorite is number 5. But no, Klaus stole the show. Like out of everybody with the whole character development and everybody doing a really good job acting as their character and making you believe that yes, this is them. Like that part of it is superb. Klaus takes that and just every scene he's in is just like heightened.
He's there.
Yeah, his presence is unbelievable in every scene that he's in.
It's like he's there and when he's not there.
And it's just fun. It's lovable. It's just like, come on, Klaus. But
Klaus 5 and Allison, those are top 3 favorite characters. I feel like that's pretty much been the gist from everyone I've talked to who's seen this show.
Mine would be Klaus 5 and Diego.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I liked Allison a lot.
Diego was just like he was tried so hard to be a badass through and through, but in the second episode, what was it, the dance scene?
Diego was like Batman before he learned before he learned all the different martial arts forms.
He just didn't have no coof. That's all. He just wasn't like
Diego
smooth with anything that he did.
Yo, anyone who watches the show, Diego talks like such a badass vigilante, but he gets his ass whooped so much.
No, he's a brawler. He's a brawler for sure. But
the soundtrack to this was so great. Like the first episode, there's a scene where they're all dancing, and when I say that I've rewatched,
that song comes out of nowhere. I've never heard that. I've never heard that song a day in my life, and
I've heard it. Ted 2.
It was on Ted 2?
Yeah, when Mark Wahlberg got hit by the rocket ship, and Ted was like, "It's the guy in the Ninja Turtles," and it's like 5 Ninja Turtles. And Ted takes the phone and starts playing it. He's like, "I think we're," and then my man comes out and he's like, he's like, "That's him." That's the only reason I know. That's the only reason I know that song because I remember that scene.
I've never heard that song before, and when they played that song, I was like, "This is my favorite song."
It was, but it had a dope soundtrack. I would say probably one of my favorite episodes was "The Day That Never Was."
Yeah,
that was a dope ass episode.
Yes. Because it was just like, they rapped. This is good. This is a good rap. If they wanted to, this is good.
Like, I mean, even like I wasn't a big fan of some of the side characters, like Pogo. I wasn't that big of. No, I like Mom. It was only Pogo I really didn't like.
You didn't like the monkey?
Nah, Pogo's their monkey butler.
He was an asshole. I didn't like him at all.
But he's loyal.
But
I'll say that
they used him to continuously push the story.
Yeah, like every time you thought something was gonna go one way, here comes Pogo.
Yeah.
Well,
you'll find
I got
out
a secret to tell you. It's like every time you think you hit a roadblock, I got a secret to tell you. That's all Pogo was, and his excuse was always the same. I was loyal to Sir Reginald. It was like every fight that was his damn reason for everything.
People are dying out here, and you're keeping secrets, bruh. Like
Pogo's
lives are being ruined.
Pogo's loyal.
Keeping secrets.
But overall, if you had to rate this show, what would you give
It's
it?
a fucking 10 out of 10.
I was gonna say a 9 out of 10.
No, man, it's a 10 out of 10. Like,
I was gonna say
must watch. It gets the serious seal of approval.
Oh, it has the Phenom seal of approval. The only reason it's down 1 is because I have to wait a whole year to see how for the rest of it.
I don't even mind with that because the way that it ended,
it is the
was the greatest cap off.
Look, this is
ever.
the first time where the Netflix motto has come back to bite me in the ass.
What?
Of releasing, because there's a lot of times where like I'm mad I have to wait a year for the next season. I was genuinely disappointed because of the cliffhanger that they left it on.
And it was a really good cliffhanger.
It burned me to my soul. I'm like, I have to wait a whole year. What the fuck are you doing to me?
It was a really good cliffhanger, yo. Like
it
really,
was,
really
and
good.
I hated it. It's not the only way. It's like the way I felt about that cliffhanger was like a cliffhanger on a regular TV show, and then you found out that the show got canceled.
Yeah, I just watched the show like that recently. I just watched the anime season like that recently.
Like I loved the episode, but that's the hatred that I have for that cliffhanger, knowing that I have to wait a whole year. It's like, you know, with anything else, like, oh, cliffhanger, show will be back in like 3-6 months. All right, I can wait half a year.
Yeah,
it's like I have to wait a whole year to find out what happens next.
I understand why you took a point off.
Just for that, just because of my emotions.
But I can't, because the pacing of the show, from the pacing of each individual episode to the pacing of the whole show, period, everything laid out perfectly.
It's just,
and then he threw in
to have so many characters, and for me to feel like they all were strong characters in their own right.
Yeah,
that's a good thing. Because like I said, I'm not just counting the umbrella, the umbrella or the Hargraves kids. I'm also counting in Cha-Cha. I'm also counting in Hazel.
Yeah,
even the little Time Bureau bitch. She wasn't like a strong character, but like, you know what?
I want to see what else she's doing.
She served her like she came in and she's like, if your purpose was to make me hate you and to make me think you stuck up and snotty, you did a grade A job.
Good job, you.
It's like even the little donut lady. I was like, oh man, like she just like a little out there. She knows what she want to do.
It made you care for every single character on it except for.
I care for Dolores.
You care for Dolores? Did you?
I care for Dolores a little bit.
It's kind of hard not to.
Yeah,
it's really hard not to.
Pogo was the only one I really didn't care for.
I didn't care for the villain. I didn't have any sympathy for what was going on for him.
Oh yeah, so the villain in this that would be another reason why I would be a 9. Only because the villain for this, it wasn't a surprise.
It wasn't, but how it was done, because the way that they structured for the villain to show up, like the true villain. You got a villain and you got a true villain.
Yeah.
And the way
the true villain was great.
Yeah.
The villain, like the sub villain to get you there was like, ugh.
The true villain scene to become the true villain.
Oh my dogs.
That shit was like heart wrenching. Like, seriously. The show knew how to tug on the feels because it made you care for every single character. You could be watching a scene with Luther and Allison, and it's like, okay, because, you know, you've got your favorite of the kids. So it's like, okay, you know, you all aren't really in my favorites. So I don't care for it as much, but they're giving you so much character development that when they switch to another scene, you're like, yo, what's going on with Luther
like, I need
and
you
Allison?
to finish this.
Yeah, like you still wanted to keep going.
You don't want to. There, like, basically, there's no main character where you don't want to see how they progress.
Right.
And that's, like I said, that's a really hard thing to do for shows that have a small ensemble of main characters, and this one has a big ensemble of main characters.
Mm-hmm.
So
that are totally different. Like,
all
100%
all totally different.
Other.
Before we end this, I also got to give a shout out to Mom.
Mom was dope.
Mom was so, like I said, the dad was a dick.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much didn't even want to spend time with the kids that he weren't training.
Mm-hmm.
So to watch after the kids, he created a robot called Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say there are certain scenes in here where Mom was just like, damn, man, you feel for moms.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she can't feel, you feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like I think in all honesty, Mom's scenes with Diego were probably like Diego's most emotional moments.
Yes.
Like, there's something that happens to Diego where you do feel sad for him, that doesn't involve mom, but there's something that you feel. There's something with Diego that involves mom, and you feel it a lot more.
Damn, that was a good ass show.
It was. I might have to finish watching it again.
It's like, damn, y'all should watch the show. Like, watch the show. Damn, you're not gonna find as good a show as that.
I'm trying to figure out why some of the other kings haven't finished that show yet.
Because they just not us, man.
I watched the show. I watched the show the day it came out, and I've watched the entire show in less than 24 hours. So.
I'm like, oh no,
and I was sad.
You know what I did?
Oh yeah, you binged it all one night.
Yep.
Then I felt bad because you thought we were gonna talk about it here, and then we didn't talk about it. I was like, I've been up all night.
I was like texting Phenom, why is this show so damn good?
He's texting me while I'm driving.
Texting the different scenes and when I was like, oh my God, this show is like
my phone's going off from Sirius. Why is this show so good?
Oh man, I was geeking out over the show like at the end of every episode, and like because I watched it, like starting at 8 o'clock at night, and like there was times where I fell asleep, so I would have to wake up and like turn it back on. I didn't finish it until like 10 o'clock the next that following morning.
Like I said, I told myself I was like I was going to rewatch it again, and I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I could do it seamlessly.
And I knew that I was going to like it. I haven't read the comic. I just know Draw Away.
Yeah,
I love that dude.
What's the worst thing you could say about him?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I knew this is something that
things would have been better if My Chemical Romance stayed.
I know he's been working on this for like the longest.
Yeah,
and so I was like, oh, when Netflix picks it up, it's going to be great. It has to be great. So I was already expecting it to be like something crazy good, and it just blew what I expected just totally away. And it became like I'm telling you, 10 out of 10. I don't even remember the last show I gave it 10. Persons of Interest is the last show probably said 10 out of 10 for. And I love Persons of Interest.
The fact that Umbrella Academy came out right after we were getting all of these Netflix Marvel cancellations is so great because it doesn't sting as much anymore.
No, it doesn't. And
I like, as much as I'm going to miss Daredevil, as much as I like season 2 of Punisher, I'm like, okay, those are canceled now. Where's the Umbrella Academy?
This is a good flagship for Dark Horse.
It is.
This is a great
I don't know if they have
flagship
any.
for Dark
I don't know
Horse.
if they have any other stuff going on, but
they better use this as a doorway right now.
I mean, it just shows you. It just shows you in general when it comes to like comic book movies. If you take your time, if the material's good, you can make it work, no matter how outlandish it might sound. Because if you read the comics, the comics sound a little outlandish.
The illustrations look
and so
insane.
like the fact they were able to to ground it, make it so down to earth, had these characters that you could emotionally relate to, even though you couldn't fathom having their powers.
Mm-hmm.
You could still emotionally relate to them. Like, I didn't think I was going to like Luther a lot, just because I didn't really like the guy that played him because he was on Game of Thrones.
Right.
I never heard of the chick to play Allison. I knew I was going to like Klaus because his name's Michael Sheehan. Mm-hmm. He played Nathan on Misfits. You ever see Misfits?
No.
Oh, you should watch. You got Hulu? Watch Misfits.
Okay.
He's only in like the first 2 or 3 seasons. It's a British show, so it's only like, I think 6 to 10 episodes. But it's dope. It's about like these juvenile delinquents who like get caught out in like a storm or something while doing community service, and they each get their own superpowers. And so he's in it, and so basically, he's playing the same character that he played.
Sweet.
He's pretty much playing the same character that he played in that. But his range is just so. His range is just so great.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he's real great at playing that troubled person, but like at the same time, it's like no matter how troubled and no matter how fucked up you are, I still want to be your friend.
Yeah,
because I still feel like I would have a good time, and I still feel like you could be a little loyal but shady at the same time.
No, I didn't get any form of shadiness from him.
A little shady, dog.
The only
he was on, like, if it wasn't for that damn hallucination that he had in that one episode, he was about to leave old boy.
But that's the thing though. I wouldn't call it shade. He was addicted because it was times where he would have to choose between family and drugs.
I mean,
and
that makes him.
he was heavily reliant on those drugs for a very good reason. And I understand.
I feel like after a while, when you're that type of addict, though, it kind of burns into your personality as well.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I can see why you say that, but I feel as though his bond and his love for his family would still outweigh his need for the drugs.
All I know is I'm walking
like
around.
If they're in trouble, he's going to be there.
I'm walking around like, hello. Goodbye. That's how I'm going to start a show. It's going to be like, hello. Goodbye.
But no, yeah, that 10 out of 10. I'm just like walking up to strangers and like.
Have you seen Umbrella Academy?
You looking for a good show to watch? You seen Umbrella Academy? And then I'm like checking up with him if I see him again. Yeah, so did you check that show out?
Because at one point you even said it on Facebook, didn't you?
Yes, I said fuck Marvel and DC for this jump.
But then he came back and said, but not Batman.
But not Batman. I couldn't, you all know how I feel about Batman. I couldn't do that to him.
But yeah, but I mean, I'm there with him. Like I said, this is a damn near perfect show in my opinion. It's great. It's beyond great.
Don't go into, because we did say it's like a little superhero, superpower kind of thing. Don't go into it thinking I'm about to watch like a mini series of a Marvel movie or Avengers or something like that. Because like we said, it's more character driven and it's more
like Heroes, where it's more character driven and more about the drama going on, and it just so happens to be that the characters in it have powers.
Right. So you're not even going to see like all the time this huge spectacle of powers and things like that happening.
It's more talking and story development and character development than it is powers.
Yeah. So the powers are just like a little treat that you get.
Because like I said,
that's right. You can do that.
Like I said, you only see Klaus's powers a few times in the first few episodes.
But you see him being
Diego's
afraid
power,
of them.
Yeah, Diego's power.
The whole show.
Yeah, Diego's power. I mean, to be honest, until I looked it up, I wouldn't even really call that a power. I was like, oh, he's just good at throwing knives. Allison doesn't really use the powers. Like I said, Ben used it maybe a couple times. I would say if anybody used the powers the most, it'll probably be 5.
I'd say Luther.
Only reason I'm gonna say 5 is just because I'm counting every instant he used the power. So So like his first scene, or his or like one of the last scenes in the first episode. I'm counting each one of those instances him using his power. So it's like
him just being lazy.
Yeah. But there you have it. Our take on the Umbrella Academy, the best show that either you've already seen or that you're not watching. And if you're not watching, what the fuck have you done lately?
Can we say that like at the end of every episode? Like Umbrella Academy, the best show you still haven't watched. Like they did that with Gilmore Girls and that pissed me off, but it worked.
You see how I tried to do the James McAvoy from Wanted, how at the very end he was like, this is me doing this and doing that and doing that. What the fuck have you done lately? Not watch Umbrella Academy.
Right? You should.
But like always, we like for y'all to go ahead and follow us on them socials right there, dog. This is where you can communicate with us a lot more. You can let us know what you think down below in the comments. But if you want to interact with us and possibly other fans of the kingdom, you should go ahead and check out those spots right there. I'll probably be streaming Division soon once I get myself ready, since I don't have my puppy anymore.
What?
Yeah, you didn't notice?
I just thought that, he was outside.
We don't want to make you guys sad about my puppy.
What?
So, on that note, Umbrella Academy. Klaus will be your favorite. That's a phenom guarantee. He's over there still shocked at what I just said. So, I'm just going to say that that's serious. This has been the Blurred Perspective. We out.